Good morning on this Trans-Siberian morning. I'm amazed so many people came out in this weather. Will the delegate assembly please come to order? Will Captain Valenzuela, PBSO, please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be looking over the minutes. And I'm going to ask PBSO, they have a busy day, to come up and give us the law enforcement report. Captain?
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. And I know it's cold, but our friends up north, we're still blessed compared to what they're going through. For all of us that have family and friends up north, it's a tough time. This is their hurricane season. So we suffer in the summer and they suffer in the winter. So I just want to give you, I'll go over the crime brief in a minute, but I just want to kind of give you the year-end results for our crime statistics as a district. You know, this is one of the larger geographical districts that Century Village resides in. It's District 3 of the Sheriff's Office. And our area of responsibility is from Belvedere Road north to the county line, from where the cities don't cover all the way out west to the acreage. So crime was down overall except for 3 categories. 2 of those we tend to look at from a crime perspective. And you know, you really can't control people or control crime. You can influence it, and you can influence people's behavior. So there was 3 categories for the year that we ended up a little bit high that we need to do some work on. One of those is that it's kind of really hard to control. One is sexual assaults. And we saw a rise countywide, not just within District 3 of sexual assaults. And one of the reasonings for that is now we have more reporting of human trafficking. I don't know if people become aware of it, but South Florida is one of those hotspots or embedded places where we become more aware of society of human trafficking, and more sexual assaults and sexual battery related crime is being reported, which isn't a bad thing. It lets law enforcement know where to go after the bad guys. So we saw an uptick in that reported crime. 2 of the ones that we tend to think that we can influence a little bit more are the vehicle burglaries. For the year, we were up 10% district-wide, which is not good, but it's not completely terrible considering that a lot of these things, a lot of these vehicle burglaries were due to people leaving unlocked vehicles. So again, as Lieutenant Hill and I always come out to the meetings, we really try to educate you guys and educate your friends and neighbors. Please lock your vehicles. Don't take it for granted that you live in a gated community. A lot of the crime trends have changed now, where the criminal element is looking for the easier crime. We've done a good job reducing residential burglaries. Those were down about 30% district-wide, which is great. But now they've transitioned into breaking into people's cars, and they're looking for anything: loose change, electronics, iPads, anything of value. They don't even care if it looks like it's something valuable. A bag, they'll break your window or try to see if the vehicle's unlocked. The other thing that we have, slight uptick in, was construction burglaries. That's good and bad. Our economy's picking up, which is good, and more investments being made into our county, so we're seeing a lot more construction, commercial and residential. So a lot of these sites, obviously, the vendors and the general contractors leave a lot of equipment overnight and a lot of supplies. And because these things aren't well lit and it's dark and they're kind of like off of the main path, the criminals are lurking and they're stealing this material. So out of crime-wise, we did pretty good to see that the 2 that went up were two property crimes, and then the sexual assault, which is something that it's one of those trends that are kind of hard to put your finger on, because some of it is domestic or family related, and the other results from human trafficking, which we are taking a very proactive measure. We have a human trafficking unit at the Sheriff's Office. So with that, I'll switch over to the village report. I'm pinch hitting for Lieutenant Hill, so here we go. For the month of December, we had 280 calls for service. These calls also report our extra patrol and our Signal 15s, which are anything from special service. And there was only 49 case numbers reported in the village during that time. Traffic report. We had 22 traffic stops conducted in the district, and I'm sorry, in the village, and citations issued were 4, traffic warnings issued were 16, and unfortunately there was five vehicle accidents. So this month, December, was a little challenging for us with our traffic resources. We were very dedicated to the president as when he traveled here for the holidays. So that took some of the resources from the village. We're going to redouble our efforts. I've made some changes in our motor unit supervision, so you're going to probably be seeing a lot more motorcycle enforcement in the village in the next couple weeks. Yeah, winter's a little tough time. The president has a second home here, and the motors and the traffic division or the traffic units are very busy. When he comes down, they have to plan the event and do all the motorcades and all the protection. But we are balancing the resources. For cases of interest in the village, we had 2 residential burglaries. Both are still being worked. We had leads on them. The deputies conducted DNA and latents. The first one occurred at Bedford. The victims had left their apartment door unlocked, and they visited a neighbor for 40 minutes. When they returned home, they discovered items moved around, and $80 was missing from a purse. So again, don't take it for granted. Please lock your doors, even your homes. The other residential burglary we had was 2 individuals who were sleeping at their mother's apartment saw a male and female taking a television. The individual yelled at the subjects. They dropped the TV and fled, and they were gone on arrival. However, the deputy conducted investigation and examined where the TV was allegedly picked up, and it still had dust on it. It didn't look like it was really moved, so there might be more to it than meets the eye. And they did process the scene for crime scene. We had a theft over in Andover. A victim was unable to locate some jewelry. They did have contractors in the house installing blinds. They also had other visitors in and out of the house for multiple parties. And the jewelry that's missing is worth about $3,500. We had a couple stolen tags in the village. We also had a mobility scooter. The battery had died on the mobility scooter, and when the individual returned, it was missing. So we're looking to see if we can follow up on where the scooter may be. 2 cases of fraud. One of them involved reports of two checks that were fraudulently cashed by unknown people. And she does not know how the bank information was compromised, but the bank is assisting the victim. The other is an insurance check made payable, went to an old address, and it had already been cashed. So in both of these instances, this involved checks. So just want to continue making you aware of the frauds. They're becoming pervasive as ever. There's a new phishing scam that's out where people are trying to mine some of your personal information. They can get it from an email or from another website, and they're trying to attach that to something that looks official from the state of Florida regarding your driver's license. The Florida Department of Motor Vehicles they do not email citizens. That's not how they communicate with you. You can go to their website and you can renew your license, and you can do a lot of things online, which is great at myflorida.gov, but they do not email you back as far as requesting information. They will send a letter to your home. That's how they or they will have someone from the office call you. They're not going to be sending you emails asking for personal information. So what these fishers have done is they've done a good job of copying some DHS&B information and sending emails out to potential victims. So be careful there. With that, does anybody have any questions for the sheriff's office? Good. All right. Everyone have a great day. I'll see you today at 1 o'clock. Lieutenant Hill's not here, so I'll be there.
Right, security
Okay.
meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Like to try again, exercise the clickers and get an electronic quorum. Ken, you want to set the time? All right, press any number. Any number will work. You can't really abstain from being here if you're here. I think it's tight.
What's going on? There's always something away to the last minute.
We made 117.
What the hell would I know what for?
141, I'm not sure now.
All right.
Now
If you want me to tell them.
in season, yeah.
and not see the sheriff? Okay, I got it.
Yeah, 141.
Huh?
141.
Well, let's hope that the sign-ins are, I said it looked close. Here comes Elizabeth, Isabel. All right. All right. Isabel,
Pick up the pace, son.
you see that number up on the screen? Does that look right? No? Okay, so be it.
Oops, you get rid of it. Yeah.
I understand. I'm going to handle that. Okay. Do you have a count? 144. Thanks, but make sure John gets the... Okay. There's a visitor out front for Yakov Milliner, who is signed in. You have a visitor out front. Yakov Millionaire. Oh, okay. Thank you. So that brings us down, Isabel, to 143? All right. All right. One day we're going to do a test, section by section, and see if anybody's blocked. Doesn't make sense, but... All right. Thank you all. Any comments on the minutes? Corrections? All right. Seeing none, the minutes will be accepted as written. I want to make one little report under President's report before we hear from our numerous and distinguished visitors. I'm sure that our folks will be very interested in this. Palmtran is extending its route along Haverhill Road. And believe it or not, if you've been observant, you may have seen a sign out. It's right at our gate. There's going to be a Palmtran stop right at our gate, and we hope to have some benches there. I had expected someone here today from Palmtran, and maybe we'll bring him up. 3 minutes, come on up. I know you have a tight schedule. A lot of people who know about this are very interested in this, so please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name's Steve Anderson. I work with the planning staff at Palmtran. We're beyond excited. We have some good news for everyone today. As the president had mentioned, Palmtran will be returning to Haverhill. Starting this Sunday, we'll be running 60-minute service every day from here up Haverhill Road. Then we'll be turning onto 45th Street, onto Military Trail, heading directly to the VA. Service will be 6 a.m. from 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. to about 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And we never had Sunday service before. We really think it's a win-win for both Palmtran and Century Village. We have a lot of service for Boca Century Village, but West Palm Beach Century Village has been asking for something for a while, and we're glad that we can say we are delivering it. In addition, we look forward to coordinating with your internal bus system. You know, I drive around your community, there's more bus shelters here than in Palmtran, it seems. So we're excited to learn from you all and coordinate our systems so we can provide you all better mobility and accessibility. In addition, if you're taking Palmtran Connection, the smaller buses, be advised that you can ride the fixed route, the big buses, for free when you present your ADA green ID card. So that we feel that'll be a benefit to everyone in the community. There'll be 10 new bus stops. As you mentioned, there's 10 new bus stops in each direction. The bus stops right out just south of the light, heading south, and across the street by the Jewish Center, heading northbound. So we're going to hang out in the lobby. We'll have a booth set up with the new schedule, some information. My team and I will be glad to talk to you after the meeting, and thank you for having us. We look forward to coordinating in the future.
All right. So if you have any questions about PalmTran, he's going to be right out in the lobby after the meeting. Okay. I think we'll give our distinguished guests. I forgot to remind you all that we're on video later to be transmitted on the World Wide Web. And Mr. Grossman, I think, is telling us he's recording the audio. Why don't we start with Paulette Burdick's representative, Port Commissioner, Senior Assistant to Paulette, Peyton MacArthur.
Good morning and Happy New Year. I just want to give you Commissioner's greetings. She's at the 4th District Court of Appeals today representing Palm Beach County. I know there's only probably one issue of real interest, the hole in the fence along Century Boulevard. Mr. Whitman is very knowledgeable, Wallman. He has a lot of attorneys. I'm afraid he's going to drag this out as long as he can. He knows that until he comes before the special master, he knows that he can delay. He will probably wait till the very last minute, and right at that last moment, he will repair the fence. I wish I could tell you we could pick up the phone and say, repair the blankety-blank fence now, but we can't. We have to go through due process, and he has legal rights, and he's going to exercise them. So I'm very sorry. I wish I had good news. It is in the process. He will be called before the special magistrate. If he does not repair the fence, he will be fined, but he is just evidently going to be as difficult as he can be. I'm very sorry. Is there anyone that has any questions for me on anything else? Yes, ma'am. They have already scheduled the hearing with the special magistrate, but in all probability, what he will do is his attorney will ask the magistrate for a delay at, like 2 days before the hearing. She wanted to know when the hearing had been scheduled. The only other thing on the Port of Palm Beach, your Office of Inspector General is here today. He's a wonderful man. In February, the issue of putting the Port of Palm Beach under the Inspector General will come up again. If any of you are so inclined, you could go on the Port's website and email all the commissioners that you think the Port of Palm Beach should be under the Inspector General. I worked at the port for 6 years, and I've been commissioner for 3 years. They need to be under the Inspector General. But I need your help. It takes 3 votes. Would only cost a de minimis amount of money. I believe the Inspector General said just over $15,000. That's nothing compared to the need. So if you would, when you have an opportunity, please let the port commissioners know that you support putting the Inspector General over the Port of Palm Beach. Thank you. Happy New Year. Healthy and happy.
I got a question.
Peyton?
A question.
Hold on. Peyton,
If you can answer.
when the special master hearing is scheduled, will you send us an email?
Of course.
Because there'll be a lot of people interested in that.
Very
okay,
good.
now I think we have a question for you.
If you can answer, is it true that Mr. Waldman, I believe his name is, will not let anyone else onto the property to repair the fence? Like the Century Village maintenance crew?
It is private property. I mean,
Okay.
Yes, I mean, like I said, I wish the county could just go in and repair it and send him a bill. But unfortunately, we can't, and he's going to be difficult.
Actually, we have an email to the effect that you just questioned. We offered to replace that downed fabric and he said, no, you may not come on my property. We have leaks in the irrigation system that runs under his property. He will not allow us on his property to fix those busted pipes. So that's the answer to your question. Thank you, Peyton, very much. I have a CPA here itching, and he's got other commitments, so I'm going to ask Sebastian to give us the treasurer's report. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so today we have the November 2017 profit and loss versus the monthly budget and the yearly budget. I wanted to first start off by saying that at the next meeting, we're going to have the December 2017 closeout. The reconciliation's done. We just have to put it together, and we'll be able to present that at the next meeting. There'll be a few differences as we close out the year that we talked about a month or two ago, where we're going to split up the different items that we have: laundry, reporter, the rentals, barcode, gate passes, investigations. Keep those separate from the normal association dues that come in and the expenses that are related and paid out from there. Also, the reserve items, we're going to have something on there that will also show what we have in there, even though it's a pooled reserve, and items related to it. So that should give it, not just more transparency, but it'll be easier to see and to view it. It may make the report 2 pages instead of 1, but it's all useful information. As we finish out November 2017, we had net income of $142,325. That did not take into account all of the security expenses. There were some that were just received a little bit in the beginning of December, so we'll go ahead and reallocate those and put those in the proper period. As far as dues goes, if you look on the second page of the budget versus actual, you can see that the dues have been received for fourth quarter, and all the notices went out for January 2018's quarter. So we have that taken into account in the checking account. And then last, at the very bottom, you'll see the reporter. It had a surplus 1815. At the next meeting, we'll have the whole year presented, so that way you'll be able to see that together. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, we have one in the back.
If you have any questions for the treasurer, please come up to the mic. You should all also, in this package, please note, this is the third mailing of the audit. It was mailed with the officer's packet. It was mailed with the executive board. Now it's mailed with this one. So that audit should be pretty well distributed. And if you have any questions, please let us know at UCO. Americo.
Excuse me.
Good morning. Thank you, Sebastian.
Hold on 1 second, sir.
Okay,
Oh.
thank you. My name's Eileen Perlman, president
Eileen.
of Camden J. Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I was away for a while, so I missed the December meeting. I don't know if any of this was discussed or whatever. But anyway, what is the replacement fund? What does that mean?
The replacement fund is the reserves.
Oh,
It's for things that aren't necessarily repairs or maintenance, but are for full replacement, upgrades, improvements.
Okay.
That's what the replacement fund is for.
so that's what it is?
Yes.
It's the okay, it's the reserves.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sure thing.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Just as a metaphor, we all can balance our bank books, I believe, which means, in fact, we know what our assets are at the beginning, we know what our revenue is during the month, we know what our expenditures are during the month, and we should know what our assets are at the end of the month. I received, and with pleasure, your P&L statement, which is basically profit and loss. But what you don't have here, and the other lady, I guess, referred to it, but didn't proceed to go any deeper.
A little closer to the mic.
Oh, a balance sheet. A balance sheet is the opening amount that you own. Your P&L statement is what you've got here, and your closing balance sheet should be included as well. I know that most of us have, you know, a couple $100,000, whatever the case is, or less than that, but we're talking about millions here. So I think that we should have, at the end of each month, a balance sheet which shows where the money is, if we have the money, and whether or not, in fact, I'll give you an example. I guess it was August of this year, or last year, pardon me, you received quite a bit of money. Like how much?
Are you referring to the $1.7 million from Atlantic Broadband?
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
That's exactly it. So that's what I'm after. I'm after you reflecting that on the balance sheet. So I understand your P&L statement is on the accrual basis, but we should have at least a balance sheet that supports this, so that you've got the entire package. That's the only reason
Did you take a look on the second page? I have the assets in there. I didn't want to clutter it with the stuff like equipment and the accounts payables because we're writing checks as we're receiving the bills. But I have the bank statements broken down. It should be on the back side of your paper, and it's got both bank accounts in there. I was thinking that in 2018, I wanted to add a fund balance so that way we could track it every single month. So I do agree with that. But are you suggesting the whole balance sheet be presented, or do you think the bank balances still suffice?
I think a balance sheet should be included,
Okay.
and you're aware of a cash flow statement. Either way. A cash flow statement gives you, what we normally do is when we balance our checkbook,